Big Chop TV, chopping it up with me. Yo, it's your boy Big Chop, chopping it up today with
Bradley, Uncle B, Mr. Bradley, Dr. B, whatever you want to call me. I work here at Build. I'm the Chief Community Officer.
Yep. So to get it started, drop some jewels. What one thing that kept you motivated to the aspect of this job that kept you coming forward to build, to be who you is today?
Yeah, you know what? That's a good question. I think it actually started, about 40 years ago almost.
Yeah.
I'm 55 now, but just working in the community and being in the community. I grew up in this neighborhood. And then also when I was younger, I worked at the Audi Home Juvenile Detention Center. And I got so tired of seeing the revolving door and kids from my neighborhood coming in and out until they got older and got sent right to county jail. And so that broke my heart. And so I left there and, I did other things, but I ended up coming back to the west side and working on my block in my neighborhood. I grew up down the street on Laramie from here. And I'm just motivated because I had so much support to be who I am. I used to think that I was exceptional and all that, but the reality was I was blessed. I had caring parents, I had caring teachers, I had mentors, I had all type of people who kept nudging and pushing me. And so I see that a lot of our young people don't have that opportunity.
For sure.
And so I want to make sure that that's available to them.
I appreciate that because a lot of us growing up in our area, we don't really got no guidance. We don't got nobody to look up to, no good role models or people that like we can lean on when something going bad. It's like we always gotta relate to the gangbangers or relate to somebody that's ain't on the right path. So somebody that come from the same neighborhood as us doing good, that keep going. Yeah. So another question is, since you a father, I'm a father. I'm a first time father. How you get through it? Like I need some key answers, man. Cause first time father hard.
Bro, look, I've been a father my entire adult life. My daughter was born, I was a senior in high school. She was born just a few months before I graduated high school. Then I had my son almost 2 years after that. And then 4 years later, my third child. I had 3 kids before I was 22 years old. And so one thing that's for sure is being consistent and being there. Love your kids. It ain't always about money. It's always about you being there and being there and supporting, because they got to come first in a lot of ways. But another way to think about them coming first is, what are you doing for you to better yourself so you could care for them? Because a lot of people do take shortcuts. They want easy money, fast stuff, but all they do is take you away from your path and where you're supposed to go. And it end up destroying your relationship with your kids and with your child, because you're not there for them, because you get pulled off into something you don't need to be in. So what I would say is, be there. Be there when they wake up and be there when they go to bed. Let them know they got a daddy, that you love them, and do what my dad, he used to tell me he loved me all the time. My father ain't throw a ball.
I'm making sure that's one. So for everyday life, how you balance like the stress and maintain what's going on in your everyday life into your work life? Like how you consider like, I can't bring this to work, or I can't get this involved with what I got going on?
Yeah, to be honest with you, it takes some maturity and growing up, and also recognizing this one thing that it sounds cliche, but this too shall pass. Knowing in your mind that you've been through other things. And when you look up, you're on the other side of it. But now here comes another problem, another issue. Then the other part is understanding, work and home is 2 different places. Mm-hmm. And so do the people at work deserve you to bring your baggage to them? Yeah. And then do the people at home deserve for you to bring your baggage from work to them? And then the other part is organizing yourself. Man, if I go on my phone, I got all types of alerts and reminders and messages to tell me to make sure I do X, Y, Z, so that I'm not letting people down and I'm not letting stuff drop. Then the other thing is, handle your business. Procrastination or putting a problem off and not facing it does not work. You just like feeding the beast. All they doing is getting bigger and stronger and hungrier. So it's kind of like you locked a monster in a room, but you got to go in that room eventually. And so you didn't deal with it when it was smaller, and now you open that door and it's huge, and now you got a bigger problem. So the key is face it. Whatever it is, face it. You know, at the worst that it's gonna be, it's gonna happen, and you're gonna get past it, you're gonna get through it, and you're gonna learn from it. So I just say face it, but also make sure you plan your time, plan where you're gonna give yourself to, and then be aware of how you feeling and the energy you bring in a space, because you're gonna get what you give.
For sure. For sure, that is true, because that's how I'm feeling right now. It's like I keep running from it, but it's like you're going to have to go back to that eventually. It's like you're going to come across this path again, so you might as well just lock in while you got a chance. And
you can't skip it.
It's like just something like that. That was a good answer.
That's real talk. Can I say one more thing, though?
Yeah.
This is something that's real true about, like, attitudes and stuff. So this is a real story. So this was back in the day when I was working with an organization down on Laramie. And I had one car, my wife would take it and I would take the train. And I was on the south side. And I remember walking to the Green Line and I got on the train and I smelled, something was stinking. And I'm looking around and I see people like, I bet it's him right there. I bet it's him who stank. So I'm riding the train doing this, trying to pay, mind my own business. I get off the train and I walk down the street and I stopped at the little corner store on Laramie. And I walk in the store and I'm standing in line. I'm like, man, something stank. And I'm looking at this lady that's in line behind me. I'm like, man, I bet that's her. I walk down the street, go into my office. I did like this. I sat in my chair and did like this, and I had dog shit on my shoe. All the time, I'm thinking it was somebody else carrying this stank. It was me. Mm-hmm. And that's the same thing about attitudes and what you give and what energy you put out there. And many times you come face to face with people, you feel like, man, why they treat me like that? Man, they got an attitude with me. Really, it's you who creating the atmosphere and you getting it back. So be mindful of like what you carrying into a space. And now I had to think about that often with myself. What am I bringing into a space? Because when you keep finding people who got attitudes with you, people like you find you ain't getting along. Well, I was there, we got into it. I was over there, we got into it. I was there, we got into it. Now you realize, wait, what's the common denominator in all this? Only person that was in all them spaces was you.
For sure.
And so it made me think about that. So I always tell that story when I got people complaining about how somebody doing them and they having a bad day.
They always point the finger at somebody else. I be doing that sometimes. I'm one of them people. I'm like, it's your fault. Whole time be me. Uh-huh. That's good though, bro. Last question. You got any resources, anything that you want to give out to people my age or people in general that they can tap into or look into?
Bro.
To better their life or better their situation.
Yeah, I'm always gonna share. I'm a networker.
For sure.
I know people who know people who know people, and then opportunities. So I'm always going to connect to opportunities. So even right now, we got this automotive training. Next week we have an open house.
Check that out, man.
Automotive training with Fastlane Automotive Training School. They right here in West Humboldt Park off of Division near Costner. And so next Thursday from 5:30 to 6:30, we got the owner coming out, and he's going to give an overview. 18-week class. We actually got scholarships for it, too. But the thing is, he was like, if you really want a job, you will get a job. And most people don't even have to finish that whole 18 weeks. You could drop in at any time of it. And many times he got so many people who are looking for mechanics and people to do oil changes, all types of stuff. You can have a job within a few weeks and making good money. But then you could keep going to school and really get your certifications. That's a career. Mm-hmm. My brother-in-law a mechanic, and he made
you
big
gonna
money.
always need a mechanic because everybody gonna be driving.
Yeah, and they even learn how to do all the electric cars too. All them are motors. Mm-hmm. So it's opportunity on top of opportunity on top of opportunity. And I'm all about, I'm not for bridges to nowhere programs and stuff that everybody, we ask y'all to spend your time in and then there's nothing on the end of it. I want to make sure there's something on the end of it, but I'm going to push you. I'm going to make you accountable for it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to put the opportunity there, but I'm not going to carry you to everything and make sure you do everything because you got to make that decision. And that's what I call man time. Sure. When shit gets hard, That's what man time is. Man, you ain't no man when everything going well. You show you're a man when it's not going well. And what do you do and how do you, respond to the moment? And so that's key. You gotta be clutch.
For sure. And the word of the day for chopping it up with Big Chop is discipline. You gotta be disciplined. You gotta be willing to sacrifice and leech yourself away to lock into what you need to better your future.